here at the coffee shop, getting a little bit of work done before I go meet my wife to walk my daughter to school. But while I'm here, I'm working on one of the things that I think as entrepreneurs we undervalue is our own story. And if you think about some of your favorite entrepreneurs, you can remember their origin story. I can think about two people off the top of my head right now that I can go through their story. I can recite their story of how they got started. I can recite the obstacles they faced and that they had to overcome to get to the place they wanted to get to. And that's one thing, like sometimes we get caught in the tactics and even the strategies and all of these different things that make a business work, that puts the energy to make a business work. But sometimes, it's the emotional side, it's the story, it's the narrative. And I think, moving forward, that's going to have way more value than a lot of the tactics, a lot of the strategies, because most of those tactics and strategies are becoming commoditized, meaning that you can go on YouTube to learn it. You can use, AI to quickly learn these things. So having those things aren't going to be as important as really dialing in on who you are and what your story is and how everything that you went through, all the failures, even the little successes that you went through brought you to the point that you have now and why you deserve to be listened to. So I'm going to show you really quick. Check this out. So let me show you really quick. I'm working on this document, just trying to lay down and lay out my pretty much origin story on why I'm building TelusFX, TFX, which is my company. And I'm just going through my story. And as you see here, I'm using pictures of my family. Um, I go down a little bit more, like why you should listen to me. And I'm really talking about the opportunities, which I called the two biggest missed opportunities of my life when I was 8 and 10. This was the first computer that I had where, I had access to, be obsessed with building, applications and products online. But I wanted to play football. I wanted to play sports over being a nerd and obsessing over um, this computer at the time, but I was early, so I was exposed to it early. And then the baseball card, me and my brother started a baseball card shop. These are two pivotal moments in my life where, you know, kind of dictated where I'm at today. So I just continued going. This is a picture of me um, in the team. I was working for the Wall Street Journal, and we had won as a team the Region of the Year, and I had won Salesperson of the Year. So I'm just basically like going back and just diving into my story because I'm understanding more and more that it's what makes me me, what makes me unique, what makes me one of one. So to detach that from your business, you're really doing yourself a discredit. So I would, you know, recommend that you go back if you're in business to really dial into your story. That's what captures people's attention, and allows them to, allows you to put trust with them faster. So I want you to think about this. If you're an entrepreneur, do people know your origin story? If I had to ask someone about your origin story, would they know it? That's what, and would they be able to repeat it over and over again so they can tell other people? And that's how you create a meme. And that's one of the things that, dialing in on your story, going back as far as you can, is such a valuable process as an entrepreneur, as anyone, but I'm speaking specifically to entrepreneurs. Even one of the concerns I had while documenting my current journey is the fact that sometimes what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes like our small beginnings do not feel or seem eventful or even worthy of conversation. And, I'm documenting a lot of things. It's like, you're docking the process. And sometimes not every day is going to be this boom. And that's like when they said like the overnight success, there's more of not knowing or hearing anything. And then all of a sudden you see the meteoric rise, and then most of the time you don't see that, and most people don't document that. But I talked to so many CEOs and founders that were like, man, I wish I documented my whole process when I was in the mud, when I was really in the trenches of building. And you see like photos or like different videos, but that's one of the reasons why I had to mentally get over the fact that even these times right now, they seem insignificant right now, but once it's visible, the rise of what we're building, and it makes sense. And that's what I always have to tell myself, because I understand story it resonates at a really high level. And I was always inspired by, this might sound crazy, but I was inspired by Soulja Boy. And I remember a few years ago, I took pretty much a whole weekend and looked at every single Soulja Boy's video from the very beginning. So if you go on YouTube and you go to someone's channel, you can click oldest and it'll rearrange the videos from oldest to newest. And I literally went through every single video and I watched his career unravel from Soulja Boy, the young guy, to Soulja Boy, the mega star. And I was always inspired by that. And I did that with Justin Bieber. I also did that with Mr. Beast. I'm always inspired by that because they have this rabbit hole that people can always go back and see their story, see the breadcrumbs that they left. And that's what this is about. This is something that I want my story to really resonate, because it's going to resonate once, right now it's like, okay, not that, 160 some subscribers, a few views every now and then, but I understand I have to keep top of mind the why I'm doing this. It's not about the immediate gratification, but it's about stacking a rabbit hole of content when people are like, wait, how did he do that? And they'll be able to go back. And that's what I did with Soulja Boy, Mr. Beast, and Justin Bieber. It's like, wow. And you literally watch their growth. And so that's one of the things that I want to be clear about. That's your story. Just another reminder that story matters. So the meeting that I'm in right now, well, I'm actually going to pick up my daughter first and then going back, is we have a film director, videographer, and a life coach in the room. And it really emphasizes we're emphasizing the need for story, your own personal story. All these things, they matter. And two people that can amplify those things is a life coach and a videographer. So definitely interesting meeting. I'm about to head back there shortly, but wanted to going to pick my daughter up.
Experience stories, like as a whole, that I'm just saying, like those are ways that you could get funded, like from a high level to do those type of things. But are you interested in that, or are you also interested in like talent?
See, with both of those things, I think finding funding, finding grants, finding to tell near-death experiences, so that we can have the freedom to create a compelling story, even though it's for a profit, or even for a company's agenda.
When I started today's episode, I didn't realize that so much conversation would be around story today. Like even when I was in the meeting which went probably like 2 hours, meeting with, she was a life coach, spiritual advisor, and she's also a scientist, which is like, the spiritual world, and you have science, and she's able to bring these things together. And then there was a videographer, a person that does documentary films, and we were just having a conversation. We thought it was going to be about business, and then that totally shifted. There's something called the mastermind when 2 or 3 people are amongst one another. The mastermind comes in, and it pretty much takes control of the conversation, and things that you probably wouldn't have talked about get spoken about. You know, the layer of transparency and vulnerability really happens in these spaces, and everyone can feel the power and the grace in the room, because we're all looking at each other like it was mind-boggling. So really good, really good time. My phone's about to die, so I can't be too long-winded, but if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. With that said, I'm out. Peace.